Hello everybody and welcome back. This is JudiciousFire. I'm on the iOS server. I'm going to be continuing my series on all the heroes in the game of Castle Clash, their recommended talents, enchantments, traits, pets, insignias, everything. We're going in order of the compendium at the lower part of the screen. Press the blue tab, gold and pink book, and all the heroes in the game are listed in order of release. We started with the very first hero, Paladin. We went through the first 10 in part 1. This is part 2 now. We're going to be beginning with Atlanticore. We're going to look at these 10 heroes today. Atlanticore, Snowzilla, Cupid, Immortep, Moltanica, Aries, Vlad Dracula, Death Knight, Orc Bane, and Santa Boom. Let's begin with Atlanticore. Atlanticore puts up a shield. That shield pushes the damage back at the enemy. Typically, enemies that attack Atlanticore while his shield up instantly die. Atlanticore is an essential hero in this game. You will find during maybe the final third of the game that you're going to be using Atlanticore in some very important game modes, like Forgotten Trial, as well as Advanced Dungeons. Atlanticore, I would recommend one of 3 talents. It depends on what your preference is. I would do a Revive. With Revive, he gets to come back. I would do a Revitalize to put that shield up immediately. And I would do a Iron Will to prevent him from getting stunned by the dungeon towers. No matter what, you're going to have, and let's go to his crest and insignias, you're going to have a Revitalize somewhere. He needs to be able to put his shield up immediately. So make sure at least you have that, and then what kind of talent is based on your preference. I often run with Eulophant. He provides the chance for him to dodge, as well as to avoid some of those stun towers. As far as his equipment goes, I use Cursed Battlefield. Cursed Battlefield is going to give 10% more damage against any enemies that are attacking Atlanticore. That pairs very well with his skill. If you're going to be using Atlanticore to deflect damage, why not give back 10% more? Go to his traits, and I have mostly health. I want to keep him alive. I want to keep him alive by allowing him to soak up as much damage as possible when his shield isn't up. Go to Atlanticore. At Breakthrough 20, he's coming in at about 30,000 damage. He is coming in at about 730,000 health. You can see his accuracy level. I do not want dodge on Atlanticore. Atlanticore's whole purpose is to take damage and reflect it back at the enemy. If he dodges that damage, he's not going to be reflecting any damage back. Let's move on to our next hero, Snowzilla. Snowzilla throws off little snowballs. He slows down the movement and attack speed of the enemy. Snowzilla is an older hero. There are heroes that do this a lot better and that are far more strong in the survival category. So if you're going to use Snowzilla and he is not an essential hero, I would just go with defense. I would try to keep him alive with some kind of defensive talent like a Stone Skin or a Sacred Light. As far as his insignias are concerned, I have survival on him to negate damage and give him the opportunity to heal. I paired him up with Phoenix. Phoenix is going to also slow the movement speed of a group of enemies, anybody within a certain range. That goes very well with Snowzilla's skill. I have a Victory Lunge on him. This gives him a little bit of extra damage, and it allows him to reflect 15% of that damage back, the damage he receives back at the enemy. For traits, I have mostly dodge. I just want to keep this guy alive. Breakthrough 20, he's doing about 29,000 damage. He is up there around 620,000 health. You can see his high accuracy level, but his very, very high dodge level. This is a hero that you can actually use. Again, not essential, but he can be a lot of fun if you can keep him alive long enough to continue to activate his skill. He's a very good debuffer that slows down demons, goblins, the whole deal. Let's move on to the next hero. We have ourselves Cupid. Okay, Cupid is an essential hero. Cupid is a hero that you're going to use very early on in the game, and you're also going to use very late in the game. There seems to be a middle ground where you're not really using Cupid, but Cupid is an essential hero. Cupid gives a big damage boost to your whole team. He also increases the movement speed of your team once he hits skill 11 and 12. Cupid, no matter what you do with his talent or insignia, nothing that you do to this guy is going to change his skill ability. You're not going to increase the damage that he gives your team. Nothing. He's very much like who was it from the last one? Succubus. No matter what you give Succubus, her skill is always going to do 52% damage on an undamage capped demon, one without a damage cap. So don't worry about what talent you're going to give Cupid. Just give Cupid something that's going to keep him alive. Okay, a stone skin, a tenacity, a sacred light, which is a combination of the two. As far as his crests are concerned, make sure Cupid has a revitalize. You want him to go off right away and activate his skill. If you don't have one of those, then give revitalize as his main talent. That's perfectly great. That'll see you through most of the game while you're using Cupid. I have Mini Angie to give some damage reduction as well as some healing. I have a Victory Lunge. Now the reason is nothing I do with Cupid is going to change his skill. So I thought, well, I'll have him reflect a little bit of extra damage. And in the game modes that I might use him, having a little bit of extra damage isn't hurting him in any way. I have mostly dodge. I just want to get him out of the way of damage and let him activate his skill so he can give my whole team a big boost. At Breakthrough 20, it's about 29,000 damage. We're looking at about 620,000 health. You can see his high accuracy and dodge rate. I want him to hit. I want him not to be hit. Next, we're going to move on to Immortep. Immortep is a hero that puts out a ring of fire. Anybody around that ring is going to take damage. Also, they're going to be stunned, knocked out into a coma, sort of like what Champion did. Immortep is not an essential hero. There are heroes that do much better. For example, if you have an Immortep and you're using Immortep, and then one day you get yourself a Vlad Dracula, retire Immortep and start using Vlad Dracula. If you happen to have a Vlad Dracula, and let's say you get yourself a Rockno, retire Vlad Dracula, get a Rockno. Use Rockno. And if you have a Rockno, and one day you get yourself a Rosaline, get rid of Rockno and start using Rosaline. So Immortep is stage 1 in this area of effect ring of damage cycle of heroes that they have put out in Castle Clash. I would just try to keep him alive. He doesn't have a high survivability rate. Give him some kind of a damage reducing talent. I have him also paired up with, I believe that's, it's the Stunning Pet. Excuse me, I'm sorry. It's Aurora. And the reason I have Aurora paired up with Immortep is Aurora stuns. And so does Immortep. So the two go well together. For crests, I have a survival to give him the chance to heal. For equipment, I have a Victory Lunge. It gives him a chance to reflect damage. It also increases his damage a great deal. Just like all the other heroes I've showed you so far. These are older heroes in the catalog, and thereby you just want to give them defensive talents and traits. You want to give them dodge, you want to give them HP, you want to give them a stone skin, a tenacity, a survival, a sacred light. Any of these will do. Even at breakthrough 20, he's coming in at about 600,000 health. Now that may seem very high, but other heroes, newer heroes, more recently released, are coming in at 850. So he's a different generation. He's doing about 26,000 damage. You can see his high accuracy level and his high dodge level. That's really just what I'm going for. Let him hit, not be hit. Let's go back. Next hero, we have Moltanica. Moltanica is a great debuffer. He will take away the abilities and the power of the enemy. He slows their attack. He slows their attack speed. He slows their movement speed. He reduces everybody in basically every way that they possibly can. Now, at skill 11 and 12, he also receives less damage and recovers health. He becomes a very self-sufficient hero, very good, constantly gaining health as he does damage to the enemy. His damage is directly linked to his healing ability, so the more damage he does, the more he will heal. I have 2 debuffing talents on him. I have a scatter. I have a slowdown. Both are going to do very well in taking care of demons, in Lost Realm, in Labyrinth, in boss battles, anywhere where you want to debuff the bad guy. Scatter taking away energy, and slow taking away the speed of the enemy's attack. I paired him with Little Havoc in order to reduce the attack speed of the enemy. It goes very well with Moltanica's skill. I have a survival to give him a double heal. He's an older hero. He is not an essential hero. He's a useful hero, but not essential. Thereby, you just want to try to keep him alive. I put energy sap on him. It increases his attack, which is great for his heal, and also it helps to debuff the enemy, reducing their attack. For traits, I went mostly with dodge and attack. Attack is going to raise his health ability, his healing ability, and the dodge is just going to keep him alive. He's got 31,000 damage. He's coming in at about 660 health, high accuracy, high dodge. I'm going to be moving on to my next hero. Before I do, I just wanted to point out, if I didn't earlier, I have a second talent on Cupid. Cupid came with a skin. Cupid is going to also have an Iron Will. This is when I use him in dungeons. This prevents him from being stunned. But the number one thing on Cupid is to have a Revitalize. Make that your first priority. Here's Cupid with his skin. It was the very first skin that they released in the game. And I remember when I believe they gave it to us for free. It was something like, I don't know, 2 to 3 years ago they started the skin. And they gave us the first 50 scraps of the Cupid skin for free, which activated a second talent. Okay, let's go back. We have ourselves Aries. Aries does an amazing thing. He takes away the enemy's ability to use their skill. He drains them of energy and prevents them from recovering that energy. Now, some heroes can get around that. Some heroes are not as susceptible to Aries' skill as they used to be. Aries is a very helpful hero. Aries, I would say, is right at that cusp, that level of being a old hero versus being an essential hero. I would want to have access to an Aries in this game, but it's not going to make or break your gameplay if you don't have Aries. By the end game, you're not really using Aries in any capacity because he's older. He ends up getting killed pretty much right away. So you've got to put a defensive talent on him. But just like Cupid, the number one thing you got to look for is a Revitalize. You want him to activate his skill immediately. So if you don't have a Revitalize Insignia or Crest, make Revitalize his main talent. Because I have it in Crest and Insignia form, I'm able to give him a defensive talent. Also, just like Cupid, I gave him an Iron Will to keep him from getting stunned up in the dungeons. He's a hero that I have used through Forgotten Trial. You can use him in Advanced Dungeons. You can use him in player versus player action like Lost Battlefield. You can use him in a Lost Realm against the computer system, in Labyrinth. Basically anywhere where you want somebody to immediately activate their skill, and it's a very quick battle. I have AVR on him. AVR silences the enemy just like Aries does. I have a Victory Lunge. I went with a damage dealing Aries. I wanted Aries. I knew he was going to activate his skill immediately. I have a Revitalize on him. So if he's going to do that, let's have him do some damage as well. And I was able to accentuate that with some of his traits and abilities. I gave him a little bit of accuracy, a little bit of attack and crit, and some dodge to keep him out of trouble. At Breakthrough 20, he's coming in at 33,000 damage. For a hero from years ago, this is maybe 2014 when Aries was released. That's a tremendous amount of damage. And he's coming in at about 590,000 health. You can see his high accuracy and his high dodge rate. Here's his skin. And the skin effect, I believe it might have been maybe like the fourth skin that was released in this game. When it cycles around, I'll get the rest of the scraps. But for right now, that's the bonus that he's getting. And you can see that most of it is applied to his attack. He's getting a huge attack boost. And that's, again, why I decided to make more of a damage-dealing Aries. Next hero, Vlad Dracula. Vlad is not an essential hero, but he's a far better hero than Immortep. Use Vlad if you were previously using Immortep. Vlad, I try to keep alive. He's an older hero. I give him a Sacred Light. I give him the chance to have extra health and to reduce damage. He has a skin, thereby he gets a second talent. I give him Zealous Drive. Zealous Drive is helpful because he's a ranged hero. It'll increase his range, keep the enemy another half a square away from him. I also gave him an attack boost and a little bit of a damage reduction. You can see the skin effects, a big attack boost, and a slightly higher health boost. I have him paired with Punching Box. It's going to give him a big damage increase, or at least one member of the team every couple of seconds. And it's also going to go very, very well with the giant circle of destruction that he puts out around him. He's an area of effect hero. Anybody within that circle is going to get killed. Punching Box will help that. I have him with a survival so he can heal. He already heals himself. Now survival will heal him. It'll give him a double heal, allowing him to stay alive. Victory Lunge for extra damage and some damage reflect. And I went with a mixture of health. He's trying to heal himself. I want to increase his health pool, a little bit of dodge, a little bit of attack. $30,000 damage, 650,000 health. And at Breakthrough 20, we have a decent accuracy and a very nice dodge level. Okay, we're on to the next hero, and that hero is Death Knight. Okay, Death Knight stops your team from having something bad happen to them. He grants you an immunity to a negative condition. Okay, so if somebody's going to slow down your whole team, or somebody's debuffed your entire team, he's going to prevent that from happening once every 4 seconds. He also has a area of effect, a pulse around him that does damage to those who are in his perimeter, and he is also going to have a natural level 5 revive built into him. The first hero to have a level 5 talent built into the hero. And this was a revive, so you do not want to put revive on Death Knight. The two will not stack, they will not add to each other, one will be canceled, and effectively you'll have no talent. So I went with damage reduction. He is an older hero. He is not an essential hero. He is seldom, if ever, used in this game. There might come a time, and it's nice to have each one of the heroes, but you can get through the whole game without a Death Knight. I went with Reapster because Reapster attacks when Death Knight is under attack, and Reapster will summon a shade, a little fighter, to help Death Knight in combat when Death Knight dies. Well, Death Knight has a revive, and so because of that, the shade will be fighting alongside Death Knight on his second life. It's a good way to double up the ability and use and utility of Reapster. I have a survival to keep him alive and to give him the chance to heal. A victory lunge for extra attack and some damage reflect. And I have a little bit of crit and a little bit of dodge. The few times that I've run him, I've tried to get the most out of him. He does not survive long under most circumstances, and thereby, if he's going to hit, I say hit for a little bit more than what would be naturally allowed based on a normal attack. That crit allows that. We go back to Death Knight. We look at his statistics. He's at 28,000 damage, 680,000 health. You can see he has a decent accuracy, slightly higher dodge rate, the ability to crit, and for a good deal of damage. We go back. Okay, we have Orc Spain next. Orc Bane is a healer. He will restore the health of anybody who's around him. Your heroes have to be around or near Orc Bane for this to happen. If they're on two opposite sides of the board, it will not happen to heal. He also throws out a little bit of damage, and it helps to slow the enemy down. Orc Bane is not an essential hero. He has the ability to heal your team, and thereby any healer in the game is a quality hero to have. But I would even go so far as to say if you have a druid, he will do a better job healing. Certainly a golem will do a better job than that. And if you have a hero like a Walla is not only a great healer, but also a great hero all around. So Orc Bane is non-essential. He has no cooldown. He can keep activating his skill again and again, just like Pumpkin Duke. So Regenerate is the perfect talent. It'll more than double his healing ability and more than double his energy when he's hitting or being hit. And that's going to get him to fire off his skill again and again. I have Bublo on him to give him a double heal, healing himself in addition to those around him. This will just heal him, but then he'll be alive to heal your team. And also a big movement speed boost, allowing him to get from building to building or enemy to enemy as quickly as possible. I have a Empower to give him energy while he's in motion. An Unbridled Fury to accentuate the fact that he has no cooldown, so I give him a big attack speed boost. And traits. I gave him the ability to hit and to do damage. And the reason is his healing ability is tied directly to the damage that he does. So he'll restore your allies by 75% of the damage that he does. So you want to accentuate that. As far as his abilities, he's over 30,000 damage and coming in at about 700,000 health. Orcs Bane was one of the earlier heroes, yes, but he was one of the heroes that had the biggest health at the time. It was a big health increase as far as heroes go. You can see his high accuracy and his high dodge rate. And we move on, and we have ourselves, last but not least, final one of today. We've got ourselves, there you are. We have Santa Boom. Santa Boom is a base damager. He is a great hero to bust up bases. He's a great hero also to slow down the enemy. When it goes off, his missile explosion is going to lower the movement speed and attack speed of the enemy. He has a built-in ability, and that is self-destruct. You do not want to put self-destruct on Santa Boom because the two will not stack, and you're going to basically be canceling your talent. So stay away from self-destruct. I went with Sacred Light to keep him alive. He's an older hero. He is not an essential hero. As far as his ability to destroy bases, Santa Boom is great, but perhaps a Little Nick, who has more of a global and wider attack, is better. So if you have a Little Nick, I would be using Santa Boom. If you have a Minotaur Chieftain, one from the last video, then these Minnow is better than all of them combined. He's going to hit 50 plus targets at max skill. Keep Santa Boom alive with the Sacred Light. I also, for the same reasons as Vlad, I gave him a Zealous Drive. He's got a ranged attack. This increases that, gives him a little bit more attack, and reduces some damage. Good hybrid talent. Cress, gave him a survival, keep him alive, and let him heal. Give him some sort of damage reducing talent. He's a base buster, so I gave him Doom Balloon. Doom Balloon blows up buildings, so does Santa Boom. Gave him Victory Lunge for some damage reflect and some extra damage. He's all damage. I want those missiles to hit, and when they do, I want them to destroy anything that they're hitting. You can see him with his skin. Again, one of the earlier skins in the game, but a nice attack boost. Not so much in any of the other areas. Okay, he's coming in at about 31,000 damage, about 630,000 health. By breakthrough 20, he's got a high accuracy rate, but basically no dodge. I put all of most of my traits into his ability to do damage. Okay, that's another 10 heroes in the Hero Compendium. On the next installment of this series, I'll look at heroes 21 through 30. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll catch you on the next one. All right, bye-bye.